Hi everybody, welcome to my first video. If you're here, you probably know me, but I am Wayne Spooney.
Wayne Spooney. So and Wayne Spooney? Wayne Spooney gets first and last name, I guess.
This is my first attempt at video content, so bear with me here, people. But I appreciate you listening, and I hope maybe you even learned something.
We'll see.
Ah, yes, that's the voice of my producer, the legend Ben Vallis, who we do the Celtics Reddit podcast together. There you go. You can see our beautiful, not quite smiling faces on that picture. I'm sure Ben would have picked a better picture of us, but it's my video. I get to select any picture I want. So let's get underway a little bit. If you know anything about me, you might be surprised that this isn't actually about Aaron Nesmith for once. This is about my other obsession, Jason Tatum. And specifically, what we're going to talk about with Tatum is his decision-making from our first preseason game on Monday night. And specifically, I want to talk about what his decision-making in that game is going to tell us about where he is at as a player. Spoiler alert, it's very good. So there was a lot of talk about Tatum kind of playing okay. Ultimately, I think if he makes 2 or 3 more shots, his game and his line starts to look awfully good. And I'll tell you one thing I do not care about. Tatum's shot falling in the preseason. Dude makes shots. He'll make shots in the future. He will probably die and be making shots in heaven, until the heat death of the universe. I'm not worried about that. Here is what I'm worried about, and what he did beautifully last night and not so great last year. Split-second correct decisions. That's his next evolution. Reading the game so fast, he doesn't need to get in his bag. He doesn't need to toss 5 or 6 goofy-ass dribble moves at someone. And last night, he did just that. Quick, split-second decision-making repeatedly. So that's what we're going to talk about. Quick rundown to give you some perspective on how I look at decision-making. This is highly scientific. So, step 1, Spooney in college. Very bad decision-making. Ben watching the Rugby Grand Final. Bad decision-making. Tatum last year. Kinda bad decision-making. Adult Spooney. Kinda good. And Tatum last night, great. Now that that's settled, I'll never reference it again throughout the entire video, and we can just put it aside as a bad joke. All right, first off, decision-making is ultimately a mindset in some ways, right? You have to be reading and anticipating in order to make the correct decision. Tatum had a lot of problems with that last year, and even at times when the easy pass seemed obvious, he was always thinking score, so he didn't make it. So let's get to the clips, and we'll see that Tatum's mindset might have caught up to his skill level, and that's a scary thought for the rest of the league. All right. This is the first of 3 things I'm going to talk about, and we've got 4 clips for each thing. This is just mindset. So we're going to take a look at this clip that's indicative of Tatum's mindset last year. You're going to see Tatum get the ball here and start to run the fast break with him, and he's got Jaylen Brown to his right on the wing. Jaylen is absolutely wide open. He shoots above 40% on catch and shoot threes. He's an absolute gunner. And of course, there's 2 Denver Nuggets sitting in the paint, one of which is Nikola Jokic, who's like 7'30", and for all his defensive faults, a pretty good rim protector. So does Tatum kick the ball out to Jaylen for an easy catch and shoot 3? He does not. You can tell his mindset is, I'm scoring this damn ball. He's not reading and reacting. He's taking it to the rack at all costs. Jaylen might as well taken a seat behind him next to the Nuggets bench because he was never getting that ball. Not a good mindset, right? That's not a tough pass. You don't have to be a good playmaker to make that kick pass. We've seen Tatum do it a million times, and in fact, he did it several times in our first preseason game. All right, so let's move on to that preseason game. And some of these clips are going to be super boring because if there's any way to start out your first piece of video content, it's with boring stuff, right? I got this content thing down. So clip 1, it's a simple, correct play. We've got a J&J pick and roll, which a lot of people have been clamoring for. That's great. Jaylen slips it beautifully and gets himself wide open. Now, there were times last year Tatum would do a pullback dribble, try to get one of these guys in isolation and make a play, because he would just miss that open pass because the mindset wasn't right. That's not a hard pass. What did he do last night? Quick, decisive decision. Quick pass. Didn't even think about getting into his bag. Didn't let Jalen's defender recover and get over to him. Open shot. That's his mindset, baby. All right, Ben, let's move on to clip number 2, which is another incredibly boring clip. We're really keeping everybody around. I'm sure the average watch time on this video will be super high. So this one's, again, boring. It's just Tatum kind of walking up in semi-transition, and he just knocks it forward to an open Jaylen Brown for a semi-transition 3 that he misses. He's not open by the time he takes it. And, you know, pretty benign play, but how many times did you see Tatum do this last year? 2, 3, -30? I mean, he was really all night looking up the floor at all times and knocking it up to his teammates. That's what his mindset was, right? He's trusting what Ime Udoka told him, that he's top 5. Or, well, I mean, if you move the ball, you'll get it back. That's what Ime told him, right? It's good stuff from Tatum. All right, now we're moving on to clip 3. This is my favorite one, which is probably why it's last. So Tatum faked me out, I know, and he looks like he's about to get into his bag and take one of his, bullshit patented mid-range jumpers that go in at about 33%. But what's he do? He actually whips a bullet righty pass to an open Smart as he's about to get into a dribble move. And you can tell Smart's not even ready for that shit, because he's thinking like, aw damn, here he goes again. And all of a sudden a pass is hitting him in the chest. He's not even ready to shoot even though he's open. This is the type of thing I'm talking about, right? He's sizing up a defender, and instead of ignoring what's around him and trying to make a play in the mid-range or ISO, he saw the slight amount of help and bam, exploits it with a righty bullet. Tatum with this type of mindset is going to win the Celtics a lot of games. All right, now let's move on to the second part of what I want to break down, and that's what I call, highly scientific wing stuff decisions. And what we're talking about here is just he's not starting the possession with the ball in his hands, right? He's getting it on the wing or in places where your 3 or your 2 is going to get the ball. So first, let's start with the bad. Coincidentally, this is actually our first offensive possession from the first preseason game of the new season. Not off to a great start. This is a classic Tatum possession from last year, right? I spoke on the Celtics Reddit podcast that I'd like to see Ime Udoka use some of those sets that Brooklyn does to get Tatum in the high and low post like they did with Durant. This is one of those sets. Unfortunately, the possession kind of dies. Not all Tatum's fault, but I mean, he's not thinking pass. He's not really looking for anything. He's out there looking like Melo, giving you a jab step and a shimmy, and we've got his patented bullshit step back, no prayer, mid-range jumper. Bad stuff. Move that ball. All right. Later on in the game, things get much, much better. You're going to see Tatum operating down in the corner, spacing out the corner, and he's going to get a nice pass. He's going to have his defender off balance. And you know what he's going to do? He's just going to make one move, exploit it, and get the defense in rotation. I mean, that's how you do it, right? No need to pull back. No need to hit him with 2 or 3 crossovers. One move, boom, he's in the paint or on his way to the paint. And he gives a nice kick out pass to Marcus Smart, who shockingly misses the shot. You're going to have to take my word for it because I cut this one short accidentally. It's the first video jitters, right, Ben?
Oh, blame me, Spooney. Okay.
These are the types of things that create a healthy offense for teams. And Tatum was all over the place doing that last night, even though his shot wasn't falling. Let's move on to wing clip number 2, Ben. Thank you very much, sir. So Scal, maybe not the best time to shout out Scal, but
And wing Spooney.
all of that aside, said last year when Tatum's decisive, he's unstoppable. And no time is that more true than on this play, when he has poor Franz Wagner in an ISO situation. I know we groan about ISOs, but Tatum's a superstar. He's going to have to generate points out of ISOs, whether for himself or others. And this is just a beautiful, quick, decisive move. He bangs it all over Franz Wagner. And it's almost like the Garden doesn't even cheer because they knew Franz was about to get put in the torture chamber. I mean, the only other friends in history to get murdered in public this brutally started a world war. Tatum is just so hard to guard when he's making quick moves, especially with his bulked up body. And the help's too late because it's so quick, it's so decisive. He's at the rim and dunking before the help defender even knows what's going on. Great stuff. Now let's move on to our wing stuff clip number 3. I love how this clip starts, right? This looks like a man who is in control of an offense. He's directing traffic. He's yelling to Smart, "Get out of my way." That's what a budding superstar looks like. They know what they want and they know where they're gonna attack, and they're manipulating the chessboard to make it as advantageous as possible for themselves. And again, he sizes up the defender and you start to think, oh man, PTSD, right? We're having flashbacks. We're going to get several crossovers. We're going to get maybe a fake spin. And we're definitely going to get a step back jumper that probably doesn't have a great chance of going in. But no. What he does? One quick crossover, and he's at the rim. He can't finish, but it's a beautiful, quick decision. In fact, it's so quick, he doesn't really let Rob get in the play. You can kind of see him meandering down the lane, and since he's not in the play, Mo Bamba can just kind of sit in the paint and has an easy contest when Tatum gets all the way down the lane. Look, that's not ideal. That's not indicative of a superstar completely in control of the offense, but you know what? I will take that sort of decisiveness on the wing instead of him grinding the offense to a halt with a series of goofy dribble moves that ultimately lead nowhere. All right, now let's move on to my favorite part, and that's Tatum operating out of the post. I wrote earlier that I'd love to see Tatum post up more. He posted up 2.5 times a game. I mean, just by my own count, I think he had well above that number. We might even be creeping towards 10 last night. And he just draws so much attention. He's impossible to guard. He makes the Celtics impossible to guard when he posts up. So let's look at this bad decision clip first and foremost. He's posting up against Minnie. He gets a lot of attention. Pritchard's guy comes to double him, and he just ignores him. I mean, he's wide open. That's an easy pass. He sees him. And look, I know PP's pretty white, Tatum, but the dude's not invisible, right? Pass the damn ball. And again, this goes back to his mindset. This is a decision he made. He does ultimately score, but it's an ugly possession, and you're getting a 40% shooter a wide open look. His skill's not stopping him from making that pass. It's his decision making. Well, last night, his decision making was very, very good out of the post, and his skill level was maybe even better. So Ben, let's move on to our post-decision clip 1 here. And this is just a simple, smart, absolute bullet to Al for a wide open jumper. I'm starting to notice a hell of a lot of good Tatum passes that led to missed jumpers last night. I think we're up to 6 in this video alone. I mean, this is just easy pickings. He gets so much attention. That's an easy pass. All right, moving on to clip number 2 here. He just times his pass so perfectly against the double team. A lot of especially good defenders will time their double team in such a way that it looks like they're coming at you hard, and once they get to you, they immediately run back to their assignment. And it's a way to kind of bait you into a pass that you think is open that doesn't actually go anywhere. So what you need to do is make that read early so you can make the pass at the perfect time as the defender's getting to you and not give him an opportunity to get back to the shooter. And he does that so nice here. Gary Harris has no chance but to blast off like Team Rocket and hope he gets a piece of the ball. And Tatum, again, this is just him generating so much attention on a simple post catch. If he keeps making decisions like this in the post, I mean, you can almost have a functional offense on just Tatum posts up all day. So I'm very encouraged by these decisions he's making in the post here. But let's go to clip number 3, my favorite play of the game, even though it actually led to a missed jumper. Tatum's here in the post, and if you look on the opposite corner, you see Jalen wave his arm there and creep into the corner. Now, this is an incredibly difficult pass. He just whips this lefty bullet to the opposite corner through the entire defense. I think around some curves, maybe under a bridge, maybe a couple of on and off ramps. I mean, is that Jason Tatum or is that James Harden? And yeah, the pass is a little bit off target, but man, that is like next level Doncic, Harden, LeBron type pass. And best of all, it's the right decision. Finding the open shooter in the opposite corner to put the pressure on the defense and generate an open shot for an elite 3-point shooter. It's great, great stuff. And if we get this type of play from Tatum consistently, especially once his shot starts falling, I mean, watch out. I'm going to start feeling real good about my Tatum MVP bet I put down a few weeks ago. So if you've made it this far, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch me and producer Ben's first video, and hopefully there are many, many more. We are anticipating doing like 2 of these a month, but you know, if someone wants to pay us, we'll crank them out every few days. You know, Bill Simmons, if by some miracle you're listening, please, I'm happy to pass along me and Ben's contact info. So with that, thanks again, and we will see you next time. Spooney and Ben out.